It is back to school season, but the start of this school year comes with renewed concern about gun violence in the wake of the mass shooting at Uvalde, Texas. For more on the nature of that threat and what can be done to help students, teachers, and parents navigate their concerns, let's bring in ABC News contributor and former Homeland Security Department official Elizabeth Neumann, as well as psychiatrist Dr. Janet Taylor. Thank you both for taking the time on this holiday to talk us through this. Really do appreciate it. Elizabeth, let's start with you. Nearly all of the recent mass shootings carried out at schools or other public places have been so-called lone wolves. Explain to us again the nature of that threat and how it's grown and evolved in recent years.
Well, that's right, Phil. We're in the middle of an 8-year uptick, very sharp uptick of domestic extremist violence. If you look at the years prior to 2015, we had on average about 3 people killed. The years since 2015, the average is 31 people. So this is a very dramatic shift for us, and it's taken law enforcement and Homeland Security officials some time to really understand what is going on. One of the things that the Department of Homeland Security has continued to warn over the last 2 years is that the threat is dynamic, it's complex, and that we have attackers motivated by a variety of grievances and ideologies. So one attack may look similar to the other, but the motivations behind it may look different. But the one thing about lone wolf attacks is that it's really a misnomer. They're not alone. Where they find community is online. There is a thriving, hate-fueled environment in the online spaces, and sadly, that's where many of these individuals develop that motivation to go and carry out that attack. So lone wolf, yes, and carrying out that attack, but they're not alone in their motivations. They find community in online dark spaces.
And so obviously we know where to look for them, but the question is law enforcement getting any better at tracking those threats before the attack is carried out? That's kind of what everybody is focusing on. Red flags. Has law enforcement gotten any better at this over the years?
They certainly have improved, but we have a long way to go. One of the ways in which we've improved is we have a better understanding of the signs and indicators of somebody that might be mobilizing to violence. We know that about 2/3 of all attackers exhibit concerning behaviors that their parents, their coaches, their teachers, their friends said, something was off. What we're not doing well as a society, and certainly the government can do more to be helpful to society, is we're not training our teachers and our coaches and our parents on those concerning behaviors so that they alert law enforcement or public health officials, mental health officials, to get that individual help. I mean, the goal should be not allowing somebody to get so far radicalized and mobilized to violence that law enforcement has to intervene. The goal really should be, let's intervene much earlier in the process when somebody is in that vulnerable stage or the radicalizing stage and prevent them from ever contemplating an act of violence. That really should be our goal as a society.
Dr. Taylor, we know so many parents are worried about their kids' safety in school. It'd be hard not to be this day and age. So how do you navigate talking about that without making your kids more fearful about going about their everyday lives? I remember my kids are coming home from school, active shooter drills. My wife and I wanted to talk a little bit more about them, but we walked this line. We didn't want to make it, too much a part of the forefront of their mind. So how do you walk that balance?
Well, as parents and caregivers, our number one job is certainly to think about our kids' safety, protect them, and anticipate. But at the same time, we have to understand that as parents, we worry twice as much about our children's safety as they do. So we don't want to project onto them our fears. I mean, as Elizabeth clearly sought out and said, the facts are the facts, but most of our children are safe in school. And when we send our kids from home to school in fear, then it really interrupts their ability to learn. So it is a fine line, but one that as parents, we have to be certainly very conscious of.
So then what age do you think we need to start these conversations at, and how do you tailor what you say based on how old your kids are? We know it can be tricky, especially with the younger kids, to strike the right balance. Dr. Taylor.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said Susan. What we have to do certainly is think about the fact that we can talk to our kids about how they're doing and to have regular check-ins with them every single day, not just when something happens, about how they're doing. We can ask them what-if questions so that they are prepared. And also what we want to do is send our kids every day from our homes filled with joy if they can, filled with learning, and minimize their stress. And also talk to them about bullying, which happens frequently and is another source of anxiety for our children.
Elizabeth Neumann, Dr. Janet Taylor, thank you both for taking some time out on your holiday to speak with us about this very important topic. We appreciate it.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.